2026 is coming. Will you face it with fear, or will you learn to remain calm no matter what life brings? Life is unpredictable. Every year introduces pressure, uncertainty, and challenges that test emotional strength. Most people move through life reacting to people, reacting to situations, reacting to emotions they don't fully understand. Over time, this constant reaction drains confidence and inner peace. In this video, we explore Stoicism as a practical mindset for gaining control over your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophy. It is a mental framework designed to help you stay grounded in a chaotic world. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus lived through war, loss, and instability, yet they remained composed and focused. Their strength came from one simple understanding: while you cannot control events, you can always control how you respond to them. In this guide, you will see how Stoic thinking helps you build emotional stability, make clear decisions under pressure, and detach from unnecessary stress. This approach does not promise an easy life. It builds a strong mind, a mind that does not panic, does not collapse under pressure, and remains steady during uncertainty. As 2026 approaches, the greatest advantage you can develop is not external success, approval, or comfort, but inner control. When your mind is disciplined, circumstances lose their power over you. The purpose of this video is to show that real strength is internal, and once you master your mind, life becomes easier to navigate. The moment you stop trying to control everything, you finally gain control over your life. Most of your stress, anger, and frustration come from one mistake: trying to control what was never in your power. Other people's behavior, their opinions, the past, and even the final outcomes of your efforts are not fully under your control. Stoicism begins by drawing a clear line between what belongs to you and what does not. What belongs to you is your thinking, your choices, your effort, and your response. Everything else is external. When you confuse these two, life feels chaotic. When you separate them, life becomes clear. A Stoic does not waste energy fighting reality. Instead, they ask one powerful question: what is in my control right now? If the answer is your attitude, your next action, or your discipline, you focus fully on that. If it is not in your control, you release it without resistance. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote that peace comes from accepting the order of things, not from resisting them. When something goes wrong, a Stoic does not complain or panic. They adapt, they remain steady, they move forward without emotional chaos. In daily life, this principle changes everything. When someone disrespects you, you cannot control their behavior, but you can control whether you react with anger or calm dignity. When plans fail, you cannot control the outcome, but you can control how you adjust and continue. Over time, this creates emotional stability and inner strength. Practicing this principle trains your mind to stay grounded. You stop living in worry about tomorrow or regret about yesterday. You focus on what you can do now, and that is where real power exists. When you truly accept what is outside your control, fear weakens, anxiety fades, and confidence grows. You are no longer dragged by circumstances. You stand firm within them. This is where Stoicism begins, not by changing the world, but by mastering yourself. If you don't examine your life, your habits will control you instead. Stoicism places great importance on self-reflection because growth begins with awareness. Most people move through their days on autopilot, repeating the same behaviors, emotional reactions, and mistakes without realizing it. A Stoic refuses to live unconsciously. Instead, they take time each day to examine their thoughts, actions, and decisions. Daily self-reflection is not about self-criticism or regret. It is about honest observation. At the end of the day, a Stoic asks simple but powerful questions. Did I act with discipline today? Did I allow emotion to control my behavior? Did I respond with reason or impulse? These questions bring clarity to the mind. Seneca wrote about reviewing his day every evening, analyzing where he acted wisely and where he fell short. This practice builds accountability. When you regularly review your behavior, you become more mindful during the day. You begin to pause before reacting. You start choosing responses instead of falling into habits. Self-reflection also exposes emotional triggers. You may notice that certain people, words, or situations disturb your peace more than others. Once these patterns become visible, they lose their power. Awareness creates distance between stimulus and response, and in that space, self-control is formed. Over time, daily reflection sharpens judgment and strengthens character. Small corrections made consistently lead to meaningful transformation. You stop repeating the same mistakes because you no longer ignore them. You become intentional about how you speak, act, and think. In a fast, distracted world, this quiet practice becomes a powerful advantage. It brings clarity in confusion and discipline in chaos. A mind that reflects regularly becomes calmer, more focused, and less reactive. Self-reflection is how Stoicism moves from philosophy into daily life. It turns experience into wisdom and time into progress. Without it, change is accidental. With it, growth becomes deliberate. What stands in the way is not there to break you, it is there to strengthen you. Stoicism teaches that hardship is not an enemy, but a teacher. Most people view difficulties as interruptions to a comfortable life. Stoics see them as part of life itself. Challenges are not accidents or punishments. They are training grounds for the mind and character. When something goes wrong, the natural reaction is resistance, complaining, blaming, or asking, "Why me?" Stoicism replaces this reaction with a better question. What is this situation training me to become? Every difficulty offers a chance to practice patience, courage, discipline, or resilience. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayal, illness, and loss. Yet he reminded himself that obstacles are raw material for growth. Without resistance, strength cannot develop. Just as the body grows through physical stress, the mind grows through adversity. Hardship exposes weaknesses that comfort keeps hidden. Pressure reveals how quickly you lose control, how attached you are to outcomes, and how much emotional discipline you truly have. Instead of avoiding this discomfort, Stoicism encourages you to meet it consciously. This mindset shifts your relationship with pain. You stop seeing setbacks as signs of failure and start seeing them as opportunities to sharpen character. When plans fail, you practice adaptability. When people disappoint you, you practice emotional restraint. When progress is slow, you practice patience. Over time, this approach builds inner confidence. You begin to trust yourself, not because life is easy, but because you know you can handle difficulty without collapsing. Fear loses its grip because you stop expecting comfort as a requirement for peace. In a world that teaches avoidance of discomfort, Stoicism teaches endurance with intelligence. Hardship becomes less threatening when you understand its purpose. It no longer controls your mood or identity. A Stoic does not seek suffering, but when it arrives, they use it. And through this use, strength is forged quietly, steadily, and permanently. Success without character is fragile. Character without success is unshakable. Stoicism teaches that most people measure their lives by outcomes: money earned, recognition gained, approval received, or goals achieved. While these things may feel important, they are never fully within your control. Basing your self-worth on them makes your peace dependent on external forces. A Stoic measures life differently. The true measure is character: how you act when things go wrong, how you treat others when no reward is expected, and how you conduct yourself under pressure. Character is the only possession no one can take from you. Outcomes fluctuate. Effort and integrity do not. You may work hard and still fail. You may act correctly and still be misunderstood. Stoicism prepares you for this reality by shifting your focus inward. When you act with discipline, honesty, and reason, you succeed in the only way that truly matters. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that it is possible to live a good life regardless of circumstances. External success is uncertain. Inner excellence is always available. When you judge yourself by character, failure loses its power to destroy your confidence. This mindset also reduces anxiety. You stop obsessing over results you cannot guarantee and focus instead on doing your part well. Whether the outcome is favorable or not, you remain at peace because you acted according to your values. In relationships, this principle creates stability. You no longer chase validation or approval. You speak truthfully, set boundaries, and act with respect, not to control others, but to remain aligned with your own standards. Over time, measuring life by character builds quiet confidence. You no longer need constant proof of worth. You know who you are because your actions reflect it consistently. When your focus shifts from outcomes to character, pressure decreases, clarity increases, and self-respect becomes unshakable. This is the kind of success Stoicism aims for, one that cannot be lost. Emotions are natural, but letting them control your actions is a choice. One of the most misunderstood ideas about Stoicism is emotional detachment. Stoics do not suppress emotions or become cold and indifferent. Instead, they learn how to experience emotions without being ruled by them. Emotional detachment in Stoicism means creating distance between feeling and action. Most people act the moment they feel. Anger leads to words they regret. Fear leads to hesitation. Desire leads to poor decisions. Stoicism teaches you to pause, to observe the emotion without immediately obeying it. This pause is where freedom exists. Emotions arise automatically, but actions do not have to. A Stoic allows emotions to pass through awareness like weather, noticed, acknowledged, but not allowed to dictate behavior. When anger appears, it is examined. When sadness arrives, it is accepted without self-pity. When excitement emerges, it is grounded with reason. Epictetus taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Emotional detachment comes from questioning those judgments. Is this situation truly harmful, or does it only feel uncomfortable? Is this reaction necessary, or simply habitual? With practice, emotional discipline becomes strength. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding deliberately. This does not make you emotionless, it makes you reliable under pressure. People who master emotional distance are calm in conflict, steady in loss, and focused in chaos. On relationships, emotional detachment prevents dependency and emotional exhaustion. You care deeply, but you do not lose yourself. You love without fear, set boundaries without guilt, and walk away without bitterness when necessary. Over time, this practice reshapes your identity. You are no longer controlled by mood swings or external triggers. You become someone who feels fully, but acts wisely. Emotional detachment is not withdrawal from life, it is engagement with clarity. It allows you to live deeply without losing control, and passionately without becoming fragile. Asterisk. Impulse feels powerful in the moment, but reason builds strength that lasts. Stoicism places reason at the center of a well-lived life. While impulses are emotional and reactive, reason is calm and deliberate. Most mistakes are not caused by lack of intelligence, but by acting before thinking. Stoicism teaches you to slow down your responses and let reason guide your actions. Impulses arise quickly. Anger wants immediate expression. Desire demands instant satisfaction. Fear urges escape. Reason, on the other hand, asks questions. It evaluates consequences. It chooses what aligns with long-term values rather than short-term relief. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to respond to situations with understanding instead of reflex. He knew that reacting emotionally gives power to external events. Responding rationally restores control. Living by reason does not mean suppressing feelings. It means refusing to let feelings make decisions on your behalf. You acknowledge emotions, but you do not hand them authority. When something provokes you, you pause. That pause creates space for wisdom. Over time, reason becomes a habit. You begin to notice triggers before they control you. You stop saying things you later regret. You stop chasing momentary pleasure at the cost of peace. Your decisions become cleaner, calmer, and more consistent. This principle has powerful effects on daily life. In conflict, reason prevents escalation. In temptation, it preserves discipline. In uncertainty, it maintains clarity. Instead of reacting to every disturbance, you choose your responses carefully. Living by reason also strengthens self. When you know your actions are guided by thought and principle, confidence grows. You trust yourself because you are not unpredictable or emotionally unstable. In a world that rewards speed and emotional expression, Stoicism teaches restraint and depth. Reason becomes your compass. It does not remove difficulty, but it ensures that difficulty does not control you. A life guided by reason is steady, intentional, and resilient. This is not a life without emotion, but a life where emotion serves wisdom, not the other way around. Asterisk. The mind that accepts loss in advance is never shocked by life. Stoicism teaches a powerful practice often misunderstood, preparing for difficulty before it arrives. This does not mean expecting the worst or living in constant anxiety. It means understanding the temporary nature of everything and building emotional readiness. Most suffering comes from surprise. People assume stability is permanent: relationships, health, success, comfort. When these things change or disappear, the shock overwhelms them. Stoicism removes this shock by reminding the mind that nothing external is guaranteed. This practice is not pessimism, it is clarity. When you accept that loss is part of life, you stop clinging. You appreciate what you have more deeply because you understand its fragility. Gratitude becomes sharper, not weaker. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on impermanence, not to become detached from life, but to remain emotionally balanced. When you know something can be lost, you stop taking it for granted. At the same time, you stop fearing its absence. Preparing for loss strengthens emotional independence. You stop basing your identity entirely on things that can disappear. When change comes, you adjust rather than collapse. Pain may still exist, but panic does not. This mindset also reduces anxiety about the future. Fear often comes from imagining loss as unbearable. Stoicism teaches that while loss may be painful, it is survivable. You have endured difficulty before, and you can endure it again. In daily life, this practice brings calm. You enjoy relationships without obsession. You pursue success without attachment. You appreciate comfort without becoming dependent on it. Balance replaces fear. Preparing for loss does not mean emotionally distancing yourself from life. It means standing firmly within it, without illusion. You live fully while accepting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. A mind prepared for loss is free. Free from panic, free from desperation, free from fear of change. And that freedom creates deep inner peace. Your life is the sum of your daily habits. Choose them wisely. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from Most people believe that freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. In reality, uncontrolled impulses, inconsistent habits, and weak discipline enslave the mind. To live effectively, you must master your habits and build discipline. Habits shape your character. Small, repeated actions, whether positive or negative, compound over time. Waking up late, giving in to distractions, or reacting impulsively may feel minor today, but over months and years, they define your life. Conversely, consistent routines of study, reflection, exercise, and mindful behavior create strength, focus, and resilience. The Stoics understood that discipline is not punishment, it is empowerment. Epictetus emphasized that external events can't control you, but self-control can. By controlling your own actions, you control your destiny in meaningful ways. Begin with small, daily practices. Wake up at a consistent time. Take care of your body. Plan your day deliberately. Reflect on your choices. Each action reinforces the mind's ability to act intentionally, rather than reactively. Over time, discipline becomes second nature, and decisions no longer feel like battles. They flow naturally from your principles. Mastering habits also prepares you for challenges. When life becomes difficult, disciplined routines provide stability. You do not collapse under stress because your mind and body are trained to endure. A strong foundation of self-discipline allows calm and focus in chaos. Importantly, discipline extends beyond personal goals. It shapes your reactions, emotions, and relationships. You act thoughtfully rather than impulsively. You speak with care rather than anger. You live according to principles rather than whims. In essence, Stoicism teaches that freedom is not doing whatever you please, it is having the inner strength to do what is right, consistently. Habits and discipline are the tools to achieve that strength. When cultivated carefully, they lead to a life of calm, control, and purpose. True strength is shown not in what you take, but in what you give without demand. Stoicism teaches that a virtuous life extends beyond oneself. Serving others, whether through kindness, guidance, or support, is a core practice. But the Stoic approach is different. The focus is on action, not reward. Most people help others hoping for recognition, gratitude, or influence. Stoicism emphasizes giving freely, without attachment to outcomes. This mindset transforms both the giver and the receiver. When you act for the sake of goodness alone, you cultivate inner strength. You stop being controlled by approval, praise, or resentment. Generosity becomes a reflection of character, not a tool for leverage. Epictetus highlighted that external events, including people's reactions, are beyond your control. You cannot guarantee how others will respond. By letting go of expectation, you maintain peace while still acting ethically. Your kindness is complete even if it goes unnoticed. Serving others also develops empathy and perspective. By putting yourself in another's position, you gain understanding without emotional entanglement. You learn to respond with calm reason rather than impulsive judgment. This is not detachment from life, it is engagement with wisdom. In practice, this means helping without strings attached. It can be as simple as listening patiently, offering guidance when asked, or performing small acts of service. Your focus is the action itself, not the reward or validation. Over time, this builds a reputation of integrity and reliability. But more importantly, it strengthens your own moral foundation. Stoicism reminds us that life is interconnected. By serving others selflessly, you align yourself with virtue. Your actions contribute to the world without creating dependency on outcomes. The mind remains free and resilient because it is not swayed by praise, criticism, or personal gain. Ultimately, giving without expectation cultivates a calm, centered, and powerful mind. It nurtures respect, trust, and moral confidence. The Stoic understands true control is not over others, but over how you act. Regardless of what you receive in return, life becomes sharper when you realize it is fleeting. One of the most profound lessons of Stoicism is the awareness of mortality. Most people avoid thinking about death, treating it as distant or irrelevant. Stoics, however, confront it directly. By acknowledging that life is finite, you gain clarity, urgency, and perspective in every action. Mortality teaches the value of the present moment. When you understand that every day could be your last, trivial concerns lose their power. Fear, procrastination, and petty conflicts shrink in importance. Decisions become more deliberate, interactions more meaningful, and time more precious. But Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that death is natural, unavoidable, and impersonal. Accepting it does not mean despair, it means liberation. It allows you to live fully, without clinging to outcomes, possessions, or approval. You act with purpose, knowing that life's value lies in how you use it, not in its length or guarantees. This awareness also builds courage. Facing mortality mentally prepares you for loss, change, and uncertainty. You stop fearing the unknown because you have already confronted the ultimate unknown. Challenges that once seemed daunting are now manageable, for your perspective has widened in daily life. This principle encourages you focus on what truly matters: relationships, growth, virtue, and contribution rather than distractions, comfort, or fleeting pleasures. Each action gains weight because you act as if time is limited, and in reality, it always is. Accepting mortality also deepens gratitude. Every breath, every conversation, every simple moment becomes more vivid. You stop taking life for granted and start valuing existence itself. Anxiety fades and calm presence grows. Ultimately, recognizing mortality transforms your mindset. It sharpens priorities, strengthens resilience, and intensifies appreciation. By embracing the inevitability of death, you free yourself to live fully, act wisely, and leave a meaningful impact. Stoicism teaches that a life well lived is not measured by years, but by how deliberately, courageously, and virtuously you live each day. Strength is not built in comfort, it is forged in how you master yourself. Stoicism teaches that the power to live well has always been within you. Life will remain unpredictable, challenges will arise, and circumstances will test your patience and courage. But by controlling your mind, acting with reason, and living according to virtue, you become unshakable. The principles we explored: controlling what you can, reflecting daily, embracing hardship, focusing on character, managing emotions, living rationally, preparing for loss, mastering habits, serving without expectation, and accepting mortality are not just ideas, they are tools to transform the way you face life every single day. Change does not come instantly. Stoicism is a practice, something you refine with each thought, decision, and action. Your mind is your strongest asset. Protect it, train it, and allow it to guide you rather than the world. As 2026 unfolds, remember this: the world may challenge you, but it cannot control you. Your responses, your discipline, and your character are yours alone. Strength lies in steady, deliberate action. Peace lies in inner mastery. Freedom lies in understanding what is truly yours. Carry these lessons with you. Apply them consistently, and watch your life shift. Not because the world changes, but because you have changed. A calm mind, a disciplined spirit, and a virtuous heart will make every challenge manageable, every opportunity clear, and every day meaningful. Your journey begins within, and every small step toward mastery brings you closer to the life you seek. Live intentionally, act wisely, and let Stoicism guide you to resilience, clarity, and inner peace.